Welcome to For Love and Play. I'm matchmaker comic Yael Meisels. With me is comedians Keenan Weaver and Louie B. For Love and Play, the show about dating like a goddamn adult. We're going to discuss who to spend your time with for love or for play. Let's do it, boys.
This show contains adult content for entertainment purposes. Listener discretion is advised.
Not a doctor.
All right, thanks for listening in to For Love and Play. I'm your host, Keenan Weaver, back with my favorite people, the Queen, Yael. What's going on?
What is going on? Happy Hanukkah, Chag Sameach, and almost Christmas, and happy almost New Year to Russians, so get excited.
All right, all of that stuff. And producer extraordinaire, Louie. What's up, man?
How you doing? Forget about it. I'm right here now. Let's do this.
All right. We got a special show to you guys today. But Louie, before we get into it, tell the people how they can join in on the conversation.
This is what I need you people to do right now. If you got any questions, you email us at forloveandplay@gmail.com, or you could tweet it to us at forloveandplay, or you could follow us on the Facebooks at facebook.com/forloveandplay. Back to you, Keenan.
All right, we got a special show. Today we're going to be talking about, can you have it all when it comes to relationships, careers, dreams? And I'm going to hand the torch over to introducing our special guests to the queen of our show, Yael.
Yes.
Started.
Yes.
Okay, so can you come from little and make something big? I believe you can, and our guests today are so amazing and they are so exciting. First, I would like to introduce professional model holding 2 current modeling contracts, working in hospital administration, Brenda Soucie and her partner George Anid, who is a vocalist currently being played all over Detroit radio. And weren't you like almost on The Voice? Almost?
Almost, yeah.
Almost.
I tried out.
Try again, dude. Seriously, because you're getting somewhere.
I was thinking about it, maybe, but it's kind of a bitch of a process. So I kind of like doing it the old school way.
But it works. The old school way is working out for you, dude. You're on the radio.
I know.
That's awesome.
It's been going pretty good.
Your girlfriend's on. She's in Macy's catalogs. You're on the radio. You two are inspirational people that did not come from wealth. You had to do this. You had to make this, and you had to build yourselves into who you are today, and who you are is phenomenal. So we want to share with people, how do we do this? How do we create and build and live our dreams and manifest them into be?
Hard work.
Very hard work.
Dedication. Believing
Never
in
giving
yourself.
up on yourself.
I mean, that from what Yael told me, definitely a very inspirational story, but I kind of want to backtrack a little bit. Can you give us some information on just the background of your relationship, like how you met, some of the dynamics in that?
I was a groupie.
Oh, is it the typical? There was a model, and then there was a party, and the DJ was partying, and you walked up to the booth and asked for to play the thong song.
I wish I had some awesome story like that, but really, we met through mutual friends at one of my shows, but it's just been an ongoing joke that she's been my #1 groupie, so,
Well,
that's kind of how
it worked
I was
out for
talking
her.
about.
You know, I mean, luckily she was obviously not a scary one. You know what I mean?
Right, no, she was
Yeah.
great. I saw her when she walked in, and I didn't really think that I would ever end up speaking to her, but definitely stood out among the rest.
Yeah, that would make sense.
George, let's just be real. You really thought that she was making bunny stew.
Right?
And you were like,
I went over and bought some shots.
Ah.
Figured, let me break the ice a little bit before the show, so we had a couple shots, but then while I was playing, she was working up this big scheme of how she wanted to meet me and talk to me, so.
No. And you know, the funny thing is before we went to his show, I told my girlfriend, I said, I do not want to meet him. He's not my type. Do not introduce me like that. Like, I
refuse to be happy. That's so funny.
And then they played a little trick on us.
Oh.
I like that, because that seems to be a very abundant story where people don't expect the one they actually end up being with up front. It's not the package that they wanted or not the package that they thought they desired, and then come to find out happiness was right behind that little blindfold that you had on.
Right.
Yeah.
We were just two people that ended up in the same place that night, and because of some mutual friends, it really kind of hit, and we've been hanging out ever since.
It was almost like
but how do you go from hanging out, though, to having a life and a family and to some degree a joint career together? And what I think is so great is, long story short, and we'll touch on this later on in the show, Brenda and I grew up together.
Yes.
So how do you go from hanging out to having a beautiful home together, raising her, raising her children? How do you go, how does that evolutionary process manifest and come into be? And one thing that I think George does right, let's set aside the fact that his partner is a model. Okay, so it's her job to be beautiful in any picture. But he includes her, and that has in social media a presence that this man is spoken for. He shares the spotlight with her, and I think that that's very important because that's an unspoken bond that we're in this together.
Right. And you know what? I have to say this because when I met him and, we started kicking it off and I started, getting feelings, I thought to myself, like, oh my God, do I want to be dating a guy like this?
Right. The guy that can get any woman, even though you're gorgeous. I dated every DJ in the world, probably. I'm saying it doesn't matter what level of entertainment they're in. They are of no shortage of vagina. It doesn't even matter.
Right.
George could be a terrible human being. Bitches are still going to want him, and you have to be able to deal with that, even though you have your own. You're your own person. You've got your own pretty to rock. But I'm saying there's still that, oh my God, every woman in this room wants to fuck my boyfriend. I know it.
Right.
They do.
Well,
yeah,
my thing was,
they do.
But you know what? That doesn't bother me. Like, I don't get jealous. I don't ever get worried, like, oh, this girl, like, look at her looking at him. I don't care about that. That stuff doesn't bother me because I know at the end of the day, he's coming home with me.
Right,
and
you own the Mona Lisa. Exactly.
Right.
You're the museum that shit hung in. Right.
Yeah. But when we're out at his shows, he is so good at keeping me right by his side, and he is so good at letting everybody know who I am. Like, he's just so proud to say, hey, this is my woman, this is my girl. Like, he's never once made me feel uncomfortable or that he was just trying to, like, run off and hide from me or just not tell somebody who I am. He has always kept me right by his side at every show, every event, and makes it clear to everybody who I am.
This is my woman. She belongs only to me. Anyone who tries to talk to her will be cut. I swear.
I should keep her close so all the other guys don't try to fuck her.
Yeah, I mean, listen, George, if it's any consolation, every man you know what I mean? I think, Brenda, it's just a part of being a woman. Men wish to fuck you. That's just what it is.
Right.
It's not even flattering. It's any woman. It's like, okay, thank you, and the grass is still green, and sun rises in the east and sets in the west. Okay. Like, every woman, always, there's always someone chasing the tail.
Mm-hmm. And you could tell they have a perfect relationship because I'm cyber stalking Brenda's page right now, and they really have a nice looking German Shepherd.
Oh.
All right.
There you go.
I do like you touched on one thing, Brenda, how it's kind of a two-sided coin where when there's a man who definitely shows the interest, always introduces you, always gives you the attention, always, even while at these shows or at work, it helps to not create those, like you said, like a jealous feeling based on other females, because he is making sure that you feel like the center of his attention, and that helps because everybody sees it.
Yeah, yeah. And I think, everybody tells us too, like, they'll tell us, oh my God, I love you guys because you guys just love each other so much. And it's like, I've been in horrible, horrible relationships coming up to this one, and he's just so respectful, and I've never had that before. So it's like, we've been together
like, how do
3
you
years.
know this one is safe? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
How did you make that distinction? And he's in entertainment. Every woman wants to F him. How was it like, okay, you know what? This is real.
He's so soft, and he's so gentle. And he's always been that with me since day one. And you know what the funny thing is when I first met him and I shook his hand, he had the softest hands I have ever felt in my life. I was like, oh my God, his hands are so soft. And just like to this day, he's just so sweet and soft and gentle. And always puts me first, always puts me right next to him.
I think in the entertainment industry, that's something that's very big because as comics, we're all in some form of that entertainment industry. And I know for me, I haven't found like a love, but anytime I have somebody come to my shows, I'm very distant. I'm like in my own world, getting ready for stage, and I'm not the person that's going to then walk up, introduce you to everybody. It doesn't matter how long we've been dating. That's just not what I am going to do. And that creates problems because of the same reasons that we had just said.
And because like with George, I never, just because knowing how much he loves his music, I've never once tried to be that girlfriend who's up his ass and, oh, you're at a show, you better come sit next to me. Like when we go to his shows, I go my way, he goes his way. I let him do his thing, and I don't care if he doesn't talk to me all night anymore. Like I'm there hanging out, drinking, having a blast, mingling. He's doing his thing. We're both having fun. And at the end of the night, when we're leaving, we're like, hey, babe, how's it going,
Right.
So you got to find that person who, kind of understands it. And it's hard. It's probably hard finding people out there who understand this kind of business.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I have a guy that I've been trying to set up for 4 years who's in entertainment. He's toured with very big names in hip-hop and is looking for a specific type of girl. And when it comes to who he is, I get no's because they can't handle it. I was like, well, no, he's performing at Madison Square Garden. Oh my God, he's that kind of, entire living, right. Like you'd be moving to LA and your life would change. And I've had girls say no, I don't want it, even though he sounds great. And he's looking specifically for a wife. And the fame, seriously, for the girls that are like the women he wants to be his Brenda, they're too scared.
Yeah, and
I have not set him up on one date in 4 years. How psycho is that?
So instead of becoming his Brenda, they become his Felicia.
Yeah.
No, they don't want to go on one date. No, they're too scared.
I have to blame the girls though, because you know what? If you don't try and you don't see what it's all about, how are you ever gonna know?
Listen, it wasn't until, let me tell you, 40 pounds ago, when I had 2 18-month-old children, I went on a date I was like dating this decent-sized DJ. And when I was like, I felt disgusting. It was February. I had Ugg boots on. Everyone else was dressed like in the club. You know what I mean? Everyone else is hot and sexy. And I was like, the whole room wants to fuck my boyfriend. And it wasn't until I started to be able, now that I've been, I would say, I've lost all of my baby weight. And now that I can, as a comic, fill half a room, it's a different feeling. It doesn't bother me anymore. You know what I mean? But I have my own account. But at least I can say that. At least I'm honest about it. You know what I mean?
Devil's advocate. Why? Because I've been told by a few of my female friends that they would never date somebody in the entertainment industry, a celebrity, thing of that nature, because of the quote-unquote level of temptation that goes along with being a male in a high-profile position. Why is that something that they have to get over? Why can't they just say, I don't want to date anybody in the entertainment industry?
How many women prior to Brenda were jealous of everything you did?
Probably most of them. I had trouble with everybody, because of these reasons. I've always been somebody that's been very social and loved having fun, loved being out, loved the music, loved the environment. So it's always been a struggle with females, you know, and even male friends. You know, I'm not even trying to talk myself up, but I've had a lot of like jealousy and shit throughout my life with people, and it's tough. But that's why, you know, Brenda's so sweet, because she allowed me to be me, and that's what means the world to me, you know, and that's why I enjoy so much sharing everything I do with her, you know, because we have a great time together, and, you know, she lets me be me, I let her be her, and it just works. So when you find somebody that allows you to be you and accepts you for it, you know, you got to take it and run with it, because there's not too many people out there like that.
I think that's definitely key, especially speaking from the male point of view. A lot of women I see get into relationships with the hopes of changing a man. And you said that she let you be you is so profound, because that's where a lot of failures come in relationships. Is women want to change this first package that they see, and then men often let them change for a little bit. They change themselves for a little bit because of their
then they get pissed.
thirst, right? Because of their thirst. They allow themselves to kind of be changed, even though you can't really change a man. Like, that's just never going to happen. And then the problems will show up later on, because you can only put up such a facade for so long.
That's
Right.
true. I've seen a lot of people unhappy that way because of that.
Yeah.
You know, they get in these relationships and they try to become somebody that they're not, and they become miserable. And it's not good for anybody. You know, nobody's going to be productive trying to be somebody else, to fit somebody else's mold. You know, you have to be yourself, and being yourself and having people that support you as yourself, I think you'll excel much better and be more comfortable and confident in what you're doing, because the people love you for it. You know, they're not trying to make you something different.
Yeah, I know that that's been one of my biggest deterrents. Anytime I'm dating a lady and she starts a conversation with, why don't you do X, Y, and Z? Those are the little passive aggressive hints to change. And I'm like, no, I didn't do it that way, because that's not how I do things. Brenda, you started to talk about like prior relationships and struggles with that. George hit on that as well. What kind of differences did you see early on? And if you can get into you had children coming into this relationship as well, right?
I do. I have two girls. They're 5 and 9.
Oh.
So our relationship was physical, and I mean, he never helped me. He never did anything for me. He always, you know, walked behind me, walked ahead of me, never was with me. And finally, I lost him when our baby was 2 months old. I kicked him out because I found out he was cheating on me with my best friend. And I kicked him out. That was it. So then I told myself, you know what? I'm never going to ever be with a guy who treats me like that ever again. And I was single probably for like 2 years before I met George. Did everything on my own, raised my kids on my own. And then I met George, and, you know, he was wonderful. Like, I never had any doubts you can't have any doubts going into a relationship. No matter what you've been through, the shit that goes on, you cannot take anything with you into a relationship.
You either have to be over it and do it, you're either over it and doing it over, or you need to fucking heal. Exactly.
You've got to go into anything brand new with an open heart, an open mind, and you can't think about the past, what happened. And that's what I did with George. I went all into it with an open heart, an open mind, you know, and never once. And I said, if he ever doubts me,
you took lessons with you, though, right? I'm saying, like, you kind of, like, took lessons learned with you. Like, at the sight of this, I know to bounce. Like, I'm not saying have your guard up, but it's like, you see past. Like, I'm seeing you for you, and I'm taking it, or I'm leaving it. Like, yeah. I think that's something you should really press on, because that's where a lot of women, our situations, being single moms, doing lots of things alone, which she did for a very long time, women lose sight of that. It's gotta be, like, there's gotta be things that make you fly away right away. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, definitely. And that's why I'm saying, like, it definitely made me who I am today. I would not be the person that I am today if I, going through the shit that I've went through. And, like, that's kind of where me and George had a little, problems with, because when I got with him, I was so used to doing everything on my own. I never had help.
Right.
So with him coming in and him trying to help me and him trying to do things for the kids, I was like, no. Like, I got it. You don't worry.
I'll be damned before you're going to come in here and make my life better. Oh, no, I've got this. Exactly. Yep.
So that's what him and I, and still to this day, we've been together 3 years, and I'm still getting used to him being there and having somebody there, because I'm just
of how a normal person is supposed to, like, conduct themselves in a relationship. It's like, this is actually the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, but it's hard to get used to because you don't know that.
Right.
I've never been with what's right. I've never had what's right.
Right.
So to me, it was like, this isn't right.
Right.
And it is.
And I feel like to some degree we're psychologically conditioned. To some degree, all women, maybe even the dudes will agree or disagree, but it's almost like we're psychologically conditioned to, like, accept, a certain standard of stupid or a certain standard of, of failure. Like, it's okay. You know what I mean? Especially being single moms. Oh my God. How many people have said to you, well, if he's willing to take on you and 2 children, like you're bringing 2 vials of the Ebola virus in with you. You know what I mean?
That's it. I never thought I would ever do something like that, to be honest with you, but we just hit it off. Like, it was never even really a question. Like, it took a little bit for me to meet the kids, probably, I don't know, 3-4 months, 2-3-4 months, something like that.
But guys, that's great, though. That's the right way. The ladies who are listening to this show who are going to email me and ask me, how long should I date someone on the regular before even the consideration of an introduction to children? George just said it.
Well, see, and that is I have a big problem with that. Like, if you're a mother, you have children, and you are single, even to single dads, I mean, come on. These are your kids. Do you want your kids to see you with random men and women all the time? I mean, what are you going to show them? That it's okay to just be with all these different people? Absolutely not. And I've always had a thing, like, if I meet a guy, and if he's the one, he will get to meet my kids. And that's why I had George wait 3 months before he met the girls, because I wanted to make sure that I loved him, that we were going to be together. And I will even yell at the kid's father, because the girls will say, oh, my dad had this girl over today. And then, oh, I've seen this girl. And I'm like, you cannot do that. If you're going to have women over, I don't want my kids there if it's going to be different ones all the time. Like, you can't do that to children. You cannot at all. I think,
especially if they like her. What if they like this one and Dad doesn't in 2 weeks?
Right, and then there's another one. Yeah. Right. So I'm just like, oh God, that irks me.
Keenan?
Y'all talk about kids. I have no input on that one.
Yeah.
I was kind of like how George was saying, like, you wouldn't expect that. Kind of talk about your process of what you thought about dating women with children before meeting Brenda.
Dude, I was on the verge of just rocking and rolling, having a good time. I was like, I don't know, like within a year out of another relationship that was really toxic. And the last thing on my mind was ever to date a girl, let alone date a girl with kids. I just wanted to have fun and rock, and then I don't know, we just met and we clicked. It was really cool, and I just started having a lot of fun. Like, I'm that kind of person. I've always been into wanting to have my own kids, and I was just starting to push a little bit, towards my 30s at the time, and so I was kind of, I guess, feeling it. Like, it was kind of my friends were having kids, people of my age group were having kids, and I never really cared too much about being married or anything at that point, but I always wanted to have kids, so when she came along, and then she comes along with these 2 pretty little, girls, they were just so adorable, and I loved hanging out with the 3 of them together, and it was fun. I got to see, them grow, and I still see them grow and have fun with them every day. We play music together, we sing, we have fun, they go in the studio, and it's just a blast. So it changed my whole outlook and my whole life, I mean, for the most part, completely. After meeting her, and I never would have even thought that would ever happen. So, but it keeps me grounded, you know, in a good way. Like, it makes me have people to think about before I might want to go out and do something stupid or fun, I guess you could say.
Like it.
So it's been, you know, there's definitely a lot more positive to it. You know, there's no real negatives. It's a challenge. It always is. Kids and relationships are two of the biggest challenges in life, you know, but you just got to work at it. We're not perfect by any means, you know, but we just work at it and we try to keep getting better, and having a tight bond is what really does it. You know, being supportive of each other and trying to just help each other. You know, that's what it comes down to. You have to, or else what's the point?
Right. And I like how you kind of alluded that you made that change internally to be there for her little girls, to be there for Brenda. And that's something that just as a man you wanted to do for yourself. I know I want to make sure that we keep the focus and the spotlight on you too. But for me personally, with the whole kids and dating women with kids, as I grow older, like I'm in my early 30s now, I'm starting to kind of want kids as much as I'm against them on the podcast and openly. Just like in my gut, I'm starting to feel like I want kids, but I don't want to be like a full-time father. I want to be like part-time, like how old cell phone bills were.
You know, the sad part is he's honest, Brenda.
Well, I looked at it like this, you know, like everybody who knows me knows I love to have a good time, and that's no secret. I wouldn't say that I've ever been, you know, in any bad way or hurt myself or been out of control to a point where I'm ruining my life, but it's no surprise that I've loved having a good time, and I looked at it like I can continue on and keep partying and chasing after this high and this fun and all this stuff that's getting me nowhere in my personal life, you know, or I could, you know, they kind of filled a gap for me, a void, you know, like, it made me happy to have them in my life. And I looked at it like maybe with them not having a dad in their life, maybe I can help them too. You know, they're helping me by helping me think before I do things, or, you know, maybe giving up certain aspects of my life that I had been hanging on to for years. And, you know, it took me away from stupid shit I could have been doing. And so that filled the gap for me. And you know, I've just always tried to fill that void for them too, you know, so I look at it like we're all helping each other.
Right. That's great. I want to go back to kind of, Yael had said that you include her in your social media. You kind of include her in your business in entertainment. One's a model, other one in the music industry. How do you guys kind of see the relationship that can get money together as well? What is your insight to that?
That's actually something they're very good at. And that can, you know, to do that, I think in the Detroit area, that's very difficult.
First of all, to get any money in Detroit, kudos.
Right, exactly.
I didn't know that money went there. Like, I thought.
Yeah, right.
It's actually coming back, man. You'd be surprised at the amount of high-profile people that are actually investing in this city. And it might not seem like it now, but give it, you know, 5, 10 years, maybe not even 10, give it 5 years, and this place is going to be booming. It's, there's already a lot of stuff happening here. As you go downtown, you know, you're starting to see people out more. You're starting to see more, you know, shops popping up and more restaurants popping up and people out walking around. You know, the Red Wings are building a brand new multiplex stadium down there that's going to have a ton of stuff, and just things are happening. You know, there's a lot of people from out of Michigan coming here to help it regrow again. So I really have a lot of faith in this city, and I love it, and I always have. And, you know, it's just, you got to treat anything you do like a business, and that's what I tried to do. We didn't know shit about the music business when we started, and we just attacked it, and we capitalized on every opportunity we had, and we stomped right through it and gave it our all and just went on to the next one and learned and trial and error and just kept pushing our way through. And before you know it, we were commanding, you know, more money to play than pretty much anybody else out there besides a few bands on our level, you know, so it's just you gotta attack it, but you gotta give something good and really put your all into it. And that's what we...
But that's I think that that's the point, though. You guys have actually managed to do that in Middle America. It's easier to do that sitting in either like, for example, New York and LA. There's just more liquid income. You know what I mean? People make more money. They spend more money going out. It's easier for me, essentially, Keenan or even, God bless it, Louie. Technically, if you want to be technical, I'm saying our chances of pursuing a career in entertainment, doing anything, okay, whatever it is, whatever art we aspire to do, would be better because of our general location, whereas you two, that didn't stop you at all.
You have to fight a lot harder for it.
Yeah, that's my point. The fight is a hell of a lot harder.
Yeah.
You don't have that economy with that liquid income to fund your art. They've managed to step above that, step over that reality, and make it possible anyway.
You have to.
Neither one of these people come from family wealth. I'm saying this is something they managed to do in a very difficult place with a terrible economy, even though it is improving. I definitely agree with that.
No, it's just, you know, there's people that come from, you know, the dirtiest of dirty, you know, ghettos, regardless of who they are. I'm not trying to profile anybody. I'm saying people of all likes come from the worst areas. And if you really want to make something of yourself, you'll overcome. You know, you'll get out of that area. You'll get out of that environment. You'll get away from them parents or that school or that whatever that was holding you back in your life. And you'll overcome. It's just a matter of how bad you want it, you know, and you have to, you know, if you're passionate about something and you love something and you believe in yourself, you just go for it, you know. And
like, I think only a stupid person would not appreciate, for real, how effing difficult it is to get on that fakakta radio. I don't even think people get how hard you have to work, how many bands, musicians, singers, etc. there are, how hard it is to be a regular on Detroit radio, not public radio. 89X, one of the biggest, most listened to radio stations really in the world and in Canada, to get on that radio station in-house, not from being on either coast, that's just beating the damn door down. That's not letting location stop you at all from what you aspire to be. It's amazing. Most people have to chase out, and my point is most people have to run so far away from Detroit to do it, to get it, and you just fought harder to get it from where you were. You know what I mean?
Right. You know, I've been, you know, pretty blessed. You know, I've had a lot of people that, you know, like my brother has been a big part of everything that we've done, always helping us on the back end and whatever he can do to help us promote and market. And we've just been grateful to have a lot of supportive people, you know, that have always followed us and supported us. Even me, myself, just as a solo artist on to starting a new project with new musicians, since I've moved on from my old band. And, you know, I've just been grateful for it. And I've put myself in a position to interact with the right people. That was what it was for me. It was like, I wanted to find out who the right people were and hang out with them or get to know them or figure out who they were hanging out with or what was going on. And that's how I've navigated my way around. You know, some people just do it for fun. Some people just don't really care. Some people, I don't know what they do. But for me, it was always, you know, if you want to be successful, you got to hang out with the successful people and learn from them, you know, and that's just what I did. I followed this person and saw who they worked with and where they recorded and what venues they were playing at and what this and that, and I got to know them people. And from this event and doing a great job here, word of mouth spread here, and that's just how it went for us, you know, and that's what we just kept doing was, like I said, trying to capitalize on everything, you know. We made sure we killed each event that we did, and we tried our best to be prepared for it and to treat it like we were a national band, you know, from selling merch to recording professional EPs to selling T-shirts and throwing out cards and posters and going to, everywhere in the 5, 6, 7 mile radius of the venue the week prior and putting up flyers all over the place to, driving everybody crazy on social media for promoting so much. And it takes a lot of effort to do it. But if you're willing to do it and you believe in yourself, then you got to do it. And that's just how things happen,
and a lot of people these days, too, are just really lazy. Really lazy. Mm-hmm. Like, they'll sit there and cry because they don't have this or that, but yet they are not pushing themselves hard enough to get what they want.
I agree.
Yeah. I mean, it's sad because there are way too many people, especially here in Detroit, in Michigan. We have a lot of lazy people.
It's very difficult.
People get stuck in this comfort zone, and they're afraid to get out of it. And they're not confident enough or they don't believe in what their product is enough. But a lot of people, I've noticed that this place here has so much talent, and that's no joke. There's so many talented musicians here and people. We've had so many talented national, world famous recording artists that have come from here. There's a lot of talent here, but there's also a lot of lazy people, and some people just don't make the most of what they could do, so, but I can't speak for them. That's their problem. For me, it's just got to hit it hard, and that's how we've always attacked it. That's the same kind of thing that we talked to Brenda. I've talked with Brenda about many times with doing what she does. It's like there's a million blondes out there, and that's no offense to her. She's gorgeous in my eyes and in a lot of people's eyes, and she stands out in a room among anybody that's in there. But, there's a million other people that could resemble her, but you've got to step above them and work harder than them, and that's how things happen. And she's done a good job at that as well. So that's just what you got to do no matter what you do.
Yeah.
Right. And kind of, how do you each kind of support each other to obtain whatever next level it is within your careers?
We just always push each other, it's like we try to help each other, get to that next point. Just having somebody's support alone makes you feel like you can accomplish anything, I mean, I run to Brenda all the time. We have at our new house, we have a studio here, so she hears us writing and recording and practicing, and, I'm always running to her and, singing songs, and what do you think about this, or what do you think about that? And I get her input, because it's important to me. If she doesn't like it, what makes any other chick gonna like it, or anybody else for that matter. So, it's important to go to each other and depend on each other, or be open to the other person's, criticism, because it helps you become better.
Right, and I do the same thing with, my modeling. I got photographers contacting me, hey, we want to do a shoot like this with you wearing this, would you be up to it? I'll go right to George, like, hey, babe, look at this. This photographer wants to shoot me. This is what he wants me to wear. Like, what do you think? Are you okay with it? And he goes with me on all my shoots that he can, come with me to. So it's like we're always keeping each other, informed and, updated on everything that's going on. We never leave each other out on anything. And, that's what you got to do to keep it going and working.
Yeah, it definitely seems like you guys found a way to completely merge two worlds together and lives into one, and that's very commendable. I also have to commend you, Brenda, because he just told me he has a studio in the house and you have 2 little girls. Where do you go get silence?
Oh, there's never silence. On a Saturday morning at 9 o'clock, him and the girls are in the studio jamming on the drums. I'm like, come on, really? My only day to sleep in.
Oh, that sounds like chaos.
I love it, though. I really love it for the world.
George, can you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you've been saying, you've been getting a lot of stuff done. Can you just say get her done?
Get her done.
There you go. Thank you.
Get her done.
Get her done. Yep.
Well, I want to thank you guys both. We're going to start wrapping up. Thank you for being on our show and taking the time out.
No problem, man. Thank you so much for having us.
All right. Is there anything that you guys would like to promote?
Right now, I mean, for me, we're doing something in March. I haven't booked anything over the next 2 months because I'm working with some new people and we're writing some awesome new stuff. So our first thing is going to be happening in March. And we're just going to start going from there. Just get back to work full time, and probably from there we got some stuff that we're going to do at the Hard Rock downtown, and just keep it going. You know, I got my new solo song that's out, Crazy. It was just played at the Detroit Red Wings game 3 weeks ago, so we were actually down there for that. And it's on 89X radio right now, and just look forward to new stuff, new tunes coming this summer.
All right, Brenda, where can Louie jerk off to you at?
Whoa! Oh, shut the fuck up!
I missed it. What did you say? Where can
It doesn't even work with you. It's so bad.
No.
How can people find out about you? Your website, promotions, Facebook?
I'm on Facebook, Brenda Soucie fan page. So everybody can kind of look me up there, see what's going on, what I'm doing. I've been Instagram, Twitter, my name, Brenda Soucie. It's so easy to find me.
For me, it's, if you'd like to check me out, I'm on Facebook at George Aneed, A-N-E-E-D, and Reverb Nation at George Aneed 22. I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram. We got some new stuff coming up on YouTube here pretty soon, so just follow me, give me a like. I always follow back, and I'll definitely keep everybody updated on what's going on and where we're rocking. So,
all right, Yael?
She dropped off.
I think she went to pee again.
Yeah.
Louie, what you got?
Well, I'm gonna be at Broadway Comedy Club on Tuesday, December 15th at 10 p.m. Come by and watch me bomb. So, and also you could follow my personal podcast and internet radio show called The Crotch Shot Radio Show. We are, I am on iTunes, iHeart, Stitcher, TuneIn, and also on Spreaker, where you can listen to me live when I broadcast. I have a lot of interesting things to say that I can't really say here because but follow me. And also I'm on Twitter at LouisB1. I also have a Instagram at LouisB1 where I like to model underwear and shit. So take it away, Keenan.
All right. All my information is always updated and can be found on my website, www.kenanweaver.com. That's KENANWEAVER. And this is not an endorsement, but if you support Bernie Sanders, I'm hosting a debate party in Stamford, Connecticut at the Seaside Tavern for donations and everything for Bernie Sanders. So come out while I host. I make fun at politics, and we're going to have a ball if you support that guy. I hope he's alive that week, but that'd be great. Louie, everybody, thank you. Thanks to our guests.
Thank you.
Keep loving. Keep